Hey, this is Karila with Metal Life Magazine. I am here at the Whisky with Jeff and Dave from Jungle Rot. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. You guys had a killer set tonight. So good to finally see you live. How did you guys feel?
I think it went pretty good, man. I mean,
yeah?
I could feel the energy out there.
Good, yeah.
It's always a good thing when you can feel it.
I feel it every time. Every time in Hollywood. Every time.
Yeah, remember the first time we started here, Jeff, it took us a while to win them over, but then as we kept coming back one by one, it just started to take off, and it seems like LA is definitely one of our better markets all around tours. Yeah.
Even though everyone's not petting all the time, how do you guys read the energy of a room? When do you know that
I get off personally?
People are satisfied.
I like the chanting and the fist banging. That's what I'm into. When I hear them chanting back, and that's what I really look for when I play. I mean, that's the old school in me, and there's nothing better when you get a response like that, man. But I like the pits too, man.
What about you? What reads well?
Well, it's like a subtle thing for me. It's like crowd participation, perhaps. Maybe that's what I'll call it. When I look out, because half the set my hair is just hanging in front of my face.
Yes.
And it's hard to see through it. But when I flip it back and I'll scan the crowd for 4 seconds that it isn't in front of my face, I'll see people on their phones, or and then some. Like today, I see people looking at us and act more. It's like a crowd participation kind of thing. That's how I would judge it. Just seeing that they're interacting with us, or if they're just waiting for the next.
By the way, since you brought up your hair, I think that shit could compete with John Tardy, and John Tardy has a fucking awesome amount of hair, if not better.
We did an obituary tour already, and we said the same thing when we were going up to him.
Lengthwise, I mean, I guess I never thought Tardy had long hair.
He has voluminous hair.
Oh, okay.
It's very voluminous.
Yeah, okay. Because Ross from Immo's got the hair.
Yeah, oh my God.
He's got to be by 3-4 inches.
That dude.
And he's only 5'4".
And Matt from
yeah, he's my height, and his hair is
Matt from Cryptops, he's got the hair too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just different for me because I'm 6'7". I can get all of it moving, whereas everybody else kind of just lets it flop around. It gets too long. You can't do anything with it.
Right.
I can keep it moving just because I'm tall. I think it stays off the floor, and it's just what it is.
There you go. Jungle Rot was one of the first death metal bands I ever got into, ever. And I picked up a compilation CD, and I was like, you know what? I don't know anything about death metal. I like Jungle Rot. I'm going to start looking into Jungle Rot. So what is your opinion about metal compilation CDs?
Yeah, I think it's great. Obviously, it worked with you. I mean, I think I know what compilation you're talking about. Do you remember the song? Was it Gas Before Air? Yeah, it's probably about Fueled by Hate. I mean, because Central Media put out that. It's the only thing Central Media ever really did for us. To tell you the truth, they did that compilation, but that compilation with that song actually did take off. And
you hear someone yell it every night, Gas Before Air.
But
it's your free bird.
Back when I grew up, I used to collect. You used to buy compilations. People, it was, I used to buy them. I mean, it was a big thing. I loved getting them one song there from a band, but.
The band in general is a really big supporter of the underground. That's something I've noticed in a lot of interviews with you guys. So I wanted to ask, how have you seen the local scene? How has it changed from when you were young kids?
I know exactly how it changed. Facebook changed it. That's exactly how it's honest to God truth. I mean, when I started out back in early '95, this band started, and people would never miss a show. It was about supporting. It wasn't about competing. It wasn't about nothing. It was about just the scene and going out and having a good time and making it happen. Now you got these kids today. They're not in it for the long jeopardy like bands like us and Cannibal or anybody. They're in it for 2 years, and they're in it to look at me, and then it just falls apart, and then they move on to the next band. And I think it's a joke out there right now in the music scene. I really do, and I'm disappointed in it myself. I mean, I don't like the way the new direction's going with the new death metal, as they call it. It's not no new death metal to me.
Do you feel as disillusioned as well?
I don't know.
I think half the bands can't pull off 90% of the shit they do in the studio these days. And when you see them live, you can see.
That I can agree with. Maybe I'm a little bit younger than Dave, but I see, the internet kind of came, in my early 20s. And it kind of, those years are when I kind of opened up to more metal. I mean, I was pretty just listening to Sepultura. I was Sepultura and the Pantera stuff that I grew up listening to, and then once you started to.
But she's talking about the bands today, man. The new stuff she's talking about. The new bands, all the shit bands.
Yeah, but that's how I heard of all the new bands at that time. There's no other way I would have done it. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, I think
it feels like for the last couple of years, at least for me, there's this. For a while, there was the new wave of thrash metal.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That was a good. I didn't mind that at all because there was only 4 or 5 that really busted through.
Well, Havoc is one of those.
Havoc, exactly. And it kind of went away real quick. But now you got all this noise, technical bullshit that people can't even play and they don't even write. They do it on a computer and they try to come out and pull it off. And kids today don't know what good music is, man. They're fooled by it. And I really think they are, and it's a shame.
Mauricio kind of said in an interview that kind of the same point you're bringing up is that there's a lot of people who can play.
Sure.
Like obviously with YouTube, you can learn how to play guitar. There's just something about lyrical arrangements and songwriting that makes these new bands seem really superficial. But like, if you were a new band today, like, what would you? I mean, the same issues from back then wouldn't be affecting you as much now. So if you were a new band, how would you go about trying to write songs?
Fuck. I wouldn't know what to do if I was in a new band right now. It was so much more different for me. We wrote as a band and stuff. You don't write on the computer and stuff, and it's just changed so much, man. The tools are just out there, and it's so easier for the bands today to get ahead. It seems like
put out a excellent sounding demo for next to nothing, you know.
I mean, they do definitely have the tools, though.
So I guess on that note, what's the most memorable concert each of you have attended as a fan?
That sticks out of my mind, and Jeff might be the same one as Brutal Assault 2 years ago, right?
For one that we played, absolutely. Right. But for me, I mean, as a kid, I remember I don't know if I was a junior in high school, I saw Sepultura. That sold my soul. Spit flying everywhere, hair flying everywhere.
The one in mind, I'm sure the old school career would be you can understand, is The Ultimate Revenge. I did Venom, Slayer, and Exodus.
Oh my God!
You know, that's where I started.
And still sucking on milk bottles.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
No, I wasn't. I was eating macaroni and cheese or something, though. I wasn't listening to Venom.
Dave, you've said in the past many times that you feel as though you could write on the spot about a lot of things. Can you recall one of the most maybe spontaneous things that came to your head that you wrote about that kind of stuck with you?
I've always got a guitar around at the house. I play acoustic. It's always in my hand all the time, so I'm always doodling changes here and there. But I don't. What's some of the ones that were just like, holy
Kill on
shit.
Command.
Oh
You wrote that in.
We tried dropping that song
45 minutes.
4 times though.
Wow.
Right? We tried that song 2-3 times and we didn't really care. And then you changed it once or twice, and then we really liked it, didn't we? That was kind of like Blind Devotion too.
Yeah, Blind Devotion was quick too. Another couple hours later, we had this song.
You know, most of the songs are written. We write our songs in 2 hours, man.
Yeah,
we really do, man. They're written like we get right to the point, and it just happens, right?
There's always a couple on the album that sit around for a while, and we kind of putz and plug at them, but most of them should be spontaneous. Maybe that gives us our sound. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I guess we never paid attention.
I think it does get a lot to do our sound. I think that's where a lot of people don't get it, but the majority of them do get it, you know. And
I mean, for lack of a better term, jungle rot's always kind of been like meat and potatoes of death metal.
Primitive, man. That's what we are. Meat and potatoes, yeah.
And simple doesn't necessarily mean it's any less intelligent or
ask any drummer that's joined us if it's simple. Ask them.
That's a good.
Oh yeah,
that is a good point there. If anybody knows anything about music, they're going to find out right away that playing more of a mid-pace metal band like us is way harder than doing any kind of blasting or noise or anything. I mean, you know, a lot of that's just cheating. I mean, you get through by the speed, and you know, everything's, you know, you can hear anything on ours when we're off, you know, because of the definition and the clarity. I mean, it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But drummers do know that this stuff is not easy to play. It really isn't. You got to be in the pocket, as we call it. That's what it is. We're a pocket band.
What do you mean by pocket band?
Tell them, Jeff. You gotta.
This is a new pocket.
You know
Who said that?
The pocket?
Someone up front saying
you
pocket.
Gotta be.
He's like, he just made this up on the spot. I don't know.
Pocket is being. We played at Click live. You know, it's very important to us. That's why we're never off. Seems like a lot of the bands are starting to catch on and understand what that is now these days. And you know, just being on that Click is being on the pocket, man. We're in the pocket all the time. We're never off. We're always on. The biggest thing too, though, as we get older, we enjoy the Click too, because after touring and you drive 8 hours or 10 hours to get to a show and you're tired and it's a long day, and you know the Click never lets you down.
Yeah,
you have
to depend on it.
Yeah, you depend on it, and it keeps you right in the pocket, man. That's why we're on it.
You've stated about how happy you are now being on. You're on Victory now, right? You've definitely stated you couldn't be happier.
More with Victory. I mean, that's the first label that we found that wants the band to continue, wants us to succeed, and they believe in the band. I mean, and that's what's hurt the band our whole life, is being sold a dream and nobody believing in the band. And it, you know, Jeff knows it's almost like the band's been around for 20 years next year, and it's like the last 3 years it's finally took off. It took 20 years to finally take off, but we're having a good time, you know.
What keeps you going after 20 years?
I think we still all have a little love for touring. I mean, it might not be as big as we used to. I think that playing live is still there, but touring is hard. And
you see what we're
yeah,
doing
I think
here.
the biggest thing that I think what
We're
it
like
is,
100 years old.
Or at least you feel like it, huh?
But seriously, I think what we look forward for is when we get to the shows is, you know, we see the fans and the people that drive the long distances, and they've been supporting us for so many years, and it's kind of like our obligation. We don't want to let anybody down, you know. It's like, I think we all feel a little of that, do we not?
To me, the band just has the momentum, you know. I guess that's what 20 years of mulling around the U.S. and Europe does, you know. They respect us for never stopping. I mean, how many bands?
Yeah.
We can all rail off 40 bands that disappeared.
Yeah, we've never stopped.
It just sucks because, yeah, I respect the shit out of you guys, and your fans respect the shit out of you, but it's like you've got to go a little farther than respect to keep you guys going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Your opinion. Would you say Terror Regime was the farthest out of your comfort zone you've gone as far as making albums has gone?
The opposite, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Really?
it almost
Like I said,
it went back for us.
We're
man.
just a machine now. We get together and it's just one after another, and it's just, to me, it's more comfortable every album we do.
I think when it goes back to what we said before, I think we finally found our stride in the last 3 albums, and we have a very good work relationship, me and Jeff and Jimmy, and it just naturally happens for us now. I think we finally found what we want in music. I think
we know what we want.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we know what we want, and you know, we've always had a lot of drummer changes, and having a drummer can really put an effect on how the music comes out, you know. And
Yeah,
the last couple
absolutely.
albums we had some really good drummers. That's why the energy is so high up there, because they can pull it off, you know. And now we have another guy that's young, and I think we're gonna have something all right with him as well.
The year's wrapping up now, but what's looking good for 2015?
We're gonna keep writing. We have 7 songs right now in the making,
right.
and we're gonna keep pounding away, and then hopefully get that out by the end of next year. Hopefully in the fall or midsummer release. And I think the only thing we have might be working on is a small run in Europe in the summer, and that's about it. But I think we're done until the album comes out, and we'll get the push from Victory and start it all over.
Glad to hear that after 20
We did
years.
pretty good with this last one. We got out there, and you know, just enough for us.
Yeah, and I think this tour is great because you're going to get recognized again. I think the kids out there need to be re-educated on what that old school was, and you're good to go. I think 2015 is going to be a really good year for you guys. I really do.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best. We really are.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thank you.